Welcome to Spiritually Speaking, the talk show for spiritual wellness with the goal to bring about personal peace, love, and joy through spiritual education. It aims to raise the consciousness and vibrations of those who seek to live a fulfilled life through acceptance and non-judgment of all religions, beliefs, and practices that are positively based in God's love and light. Good afternoon and happy Sunday, everyone out there in internet radio land. And thank you for tuning in to Spiritually Speaking today. It's going to be a really good show packed with a lot of good information. Today we have Cynthia Krager, who was on our show last year, astrologist and numerologist and interfaith minister, author, and a lot of other great things. She's going to be back on the show in about 10 minutes to talk about all the things she didn't get to finish last week about 12/21/12. And also in the studio with me today, to my left, is Wendy Hauver. How did I do with that?
Great, Dee Dee. Thanks.
Wendy is an oracle, a teacher, author, and founder of the Sixth Sense Spiritualist Group and lots of other things. She's also a psychic medium, and she has a very special gift that she's going to tell us all about as well. And she brought one of her books here today, The Fancy Files. And for anyone that wants to call into the show today, you will have be the recipient of an autographed copy of The Fancy Files. And the number to call in is 727-493-2055. That's 727-493-2055. So say hello, Wendy.
Hi, how is everybody out there today?
So I can hear them saying, "We're just fine. We're just zen, and we're just waiting for all the information that you're giving us today." Well, before we get started, just a couple of announcements. I am Dee Dee Lovejoy, your host, and I am the owner of Quintessence Aromatherapy and Crystal Healing in Tampa. And I'm really excited because on January 6th, we are moving the studios. Well, we're opening up a brand new studio in Tampa, and it's going to be at the same address as Quintessence. So we're having an open house that day, and we're asking people that if you want to stop by and say hi to Dee Dee Lovejoy and Quintessence and Talk Watt Radio, to please stop by or call me at 813-367-7385 and just say, I'm going to be there and stop by the show and say hello. On that day, we are going to have, let's see who's special guest on the show. We're going to have Pearl Prather. She is the owner of Mystical Sense. And you know Pearl pretty well.
Yeah, Pearl's awesome. She has taught me a lot. She's a really good teacher and a good friend.
Which is why we're going to have her on the show, because she has created a community over at Mystical Sense. And it's become a really great place to learn. And she has a lot of great classes. A lot of practitioners. Do you do work there as well?
I have done some of the psychic fairs over there, and the people that come in are absolutely incredible. They have so much to share, whether they're looking for something or they're there to give.
And that's why we're going to have her on. So she's going to be on the show on January 6th. She's going to come in and talk about the community she's created over at Mystical Sense, and also share some things on the calendar. Also on January 6th, we're going to have Amy Escher. She's a soul awareness coach. She's also an author, and she helps people find their life purpose. I think that's what her coaching is all about. So she's going to be on the show on January 6th as well. So stay tuned to listen to her. Later on in January 13th, we're having Stephen Rahm. He's a light worker and energy healer. He's trained in various modalities, and he's going to talk about how energy work is being done in mainstream hospitals. Also on January 20th, we're having Kim Linder. She's a caregiver coach and a talk show host of the Caregiver Hour. A lot of people that work in the caregiving industry know Kim, so she's going to be on January 20th, and we're going to talk about some things that we're collaborating on together. Also, just give you some quick things on what Quintessence is doing for next year, the calendar of events. Lots of exciting things. So In Demand has been the
Your
here it
sons
comes.
are really awesome. I have to say, I really appreciated you coming to talk to the group. And
That's
you're
right. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. It's not a self plug, you guys. Wendy has the spiritualist group, and she actually, she's going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But she asked me to come in and be a guest speaker at the spiritualist group. So, um, she'll talk about it because she has had some really fabulous guests there, and she's going to talk about all why you started the group, right?
yes, yes, we will.
Okay. So for one of the things that we have coming up on January 12th is connecting with your spirit guides. This is a class that people have been asking me about. I've been certified as a spirit guide coach by Deborah King Center, and I can teach this class now. So people who are wanting to know or connect with their spirit guides that haven't been, and we talked about this too, Wendy. Are you one of the people that want to take this class?
Right, my group is. We are actually going to have Dee Dee come out, and we're going to be taking her class, connecting with your spirit guides. It looks fascinating, and everybody needs to connect spiritually somehow.
And they do. And this class is going to talk about how to picture a form of the spirit guide, how to ask specific questions, how to go with your gut feeling, and how to pick the right spirit guide because you have more than one and they have specialties. So if you are writing a book, for example,
Right.
you can call ancient ancestors or ancient people in the spirit world, like one of the very famous. You can call on Ernest Hemingway, for example,
Right.
to
Right.
help you write.
Right. And there are a lot of famous texts out there that were written entirely through someone channeling the person who was giving them the information for the story.
That's right, and which is fantastic, and I'm glad that we have the ability to do that. So with this class, you will learn how to tap into that ability. So it's not something new. Everybody can do it. Just with a little guidance, everybody you'll be on your way to be a spirit guide, to tapping into your own spirit guide. There are a lot of classes also that I'm going to be teaching over at Mystical Sense. One is tools to manifest your heart's desires. Reiki 1, there's unlock your tuition, the power of the pendulum. Third Sunday, Reiki share, psychic development through touch, a lesson in psychometry, and on and on. So you can go to my website at oilsandstones.com, oilsandstones.com, and then just click on events, and you can see all the events that I have up there right now. So that's enough of D Lovejoy and Quintessence. So no, let's get on with our guest today. So before we have Wendy on, we're gonna call up Cynthia. Hey, we have Wendy and Cindy today. I think that's great. Wendy and Cindy. So first, we're gonna have Cindy on to talk some more about numerology and astrology. Hey, Adam, can you please put the number on the screen for us? So calling in today is the number is 727-493-2055. So we're going to go ahead and call Cynthia and just enjoy her
Please
music.
enjoy this Verizon ringback tone while your party is reached.
Aquarius, age of Aquarius.
Okay. That was fun.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Cindy. We were
Hi.
just we were singing along with the age of Aquarius.
Oh, so I was hoping that was on today.
Yes, it's still on. So, Cindy, thank you for being back on our show today. And we just ran out of time last week. So, before we get right into the talking, let's give out your contact information this time. So, how can everyone
Okay.
contact you?
Okay, you can contact me at www.psychicflow.com. There's a contact information on there. You can write in or you can email me at Cindy@psychicflow.com. And the Cindy is spelled Cyndi at psychicflow.com. Or you can even call me at 281-608-8859.
Okay. Well, thank you, Cindy. So last week, we were talking about 12/21/12, and we also talked a little bit about 12/12/12. And
Hmm.
so that day has passed. How did you feel that day? Was there anything different for you on 12/12/12?
There was not a physical difference, but I did feel a spiritual shift going on. And it was amazing because of the shift, even when people were not aware of what was happening to them, there was a major shift. And I feel that the shift did happen, spiritually. And we have a big polarization type of dichotomy happening. And I felt like it was a good shift and a bad shift all at the same time because the very next day was the new moon. And that is when a lot of psychic shift happens, be it
Oh
spiritually
yeah.
or
Yes.
psychically or during dreams. Some people did not sleep.
Yes.
Some people had a lot of psychic or prophetic dreams that day, and a lot of major physical shifting happened. You know, sadly, with the elementary school massacre and things like
Yes.
that happened,
Yeah.
I feel like there was definitely a shift, and it showed that. Um, there was some old energy still residual, and there's a lot of fears that's being manifested.
Yes.
And I can't say that that's the reason why it happened, but I think that there is, showing that there's an old energy and a new energy, and a lot of the old fears are being, uh, that's just my opinion,
I
that's
think you're
being
right
put
on,
up there.
Cindy. Really, I really do. There was definitely a shift. We
Hmm.
had a consciousness circle on that day on twelve
Hmm.
twelve twelve, and the next day we were just
Hmm.
it was still like being in a fog. I definitely felt it. Did you feel it, Cindy?
Yes.
I
Hmm.
mean, Wendy.
Yes.
Cindy, Wendy, did you feel it too?
Yeah, I did. And I was the day before I was meeting with a bunch of psychics that I know, and they were saying too that it was a day where we were all supposed to spend actively reflecting
Uh-huh.
to help prepare for the shift in energy.
Okay.
Hmm.
And our
Well,
hearts do
see,
go out
there's a,
to the parents and
yes,
the sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers and cousins and uncles of all those children, and even to the gunman there. He
yes.
must have been in a lot of pain. So, we our hearts and energy and sending angels to those folks in Connecticut right now.
Yes, that was especially sad. But it goes back to the Aquarian energy that's
Mhm.
coming in, and it's about exposure. It's about the humanitarian energy. It's about nothing happened without the world knowing a couple of seconds later, technology, innovation, satellite connection. And the Aquarian energy brings that in, where if there's any kind of injustice or there's a sadness going on, that because of the type of kids or children that are being raised now, the collective consciousness of these children, or manifesting what energy that is out there. And there's been a lot of fears for the last few years, politically or even socially. And these kids are manifesting this energy that we are locking and bottling up as older people, but these young kids are manifesting the fears that's within us.
Yes.
And it's coming out through violence, it's coming out through, or it's coming out through the very spiritual psychic side.
Well, what
So
can we
you have,
do? What can we do to help that?
well, it's being done. That's what I think. I think the exposure is part of the healing. And because just as much violence is coming on, there's this, it's not a, it's this polarization of right and wrong. It is
Uh-huh.
just black and white right now. It is that particular like Libra energy, pretty much, that is about justice, and
Mhm.
it's about balance. And you're going to have one extreme to the other until it balances out in the middle. And that's what's going on. I mean, it's manifest. It's nothing we can do about it more than us doing exactly what we're doing collectively, consciously, bringing our energy or our spirit level. We got to do more meditation. We got to do more, collective, coming together. But whenever this happens, then there is this thing of recognizing that, look, we've had more gun sales in the last 5 years than we ever had in the history of America. And then we're saying, oh, assault rifles or just going out to hunt deers. That is not true.
Yeah, you don't need
There's
an
an
assault rifle to hunt
underlying
a deer.
yeah,
I don't know why you
there's
would
an
kill a deer anyway, but
underlying fear
yeah.
that's been going on forever, and now it's manifesting through the children. And these kids are very, uh, self-aware on a different level, because the video games, there's fantasy that's been acted out in reality,
Mhm.
and even the kids who are not into that, but whatever spiritual is acting out in reality. And Oprah had, this group of three people who were young people who were out there speaking on a conscious level, on a higher level, letting people know that we are connected. There's oneness going on, and everything we do affects everyone. So there is a major spiritual movement going on as well as this. But what's happening is the dark workers, are really fighting for survival, and the light workers are coming up to the point where, when light is,
I just got
um,
chills. I did.
yeah,
I just really got chills. Mhm.
yes, when the light is being manifested, darkness have to flee.
Yes,
But
they
then
do.
there's a fight for the right to stay in this, you know,
Mhm.
um, inclusive club that's been there. But people are saying, "Hey, we're all included," and that's not happening now. Now there's a fear of the have and have-nots. I'm not even going to say the have and have-not, but the right to be on top and no one else included.
Well, do you think this feminine energy that's coming in with the age of Aquarius is
Hmm.
helpful, with all of the violence? Because feminine energy
Yeah,
is
I,
more
I,
nurturing.
Right, definitely nurturing.
Mhm.
yeah. Now it's kind of amazing because actually the Aquarian energy is a masculine energy.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yes, it's the air sign is masculine. But I think it is the balance of that feminine energy of Pisces, the Piscean energy, which is the feminine, but it's about taking that feminine energy and bringing it outward. Taking that sacrificial, I'll die for you, energy, and taking it to, it's not about us anymore. It's about the world, and we're getting out there and pushing it. But yes, because of the fact that the feminine energy had been suppressed with the masculine energy,
Okay,
now there needs
that's
to
what
be
I'm
a
talking about.
yes.
Mhm.
Now there needs to be an exposure that this needs to be a balance now. Now there needs to be the feminine and the masculine coming together. But there used to be a strong feminine energy. Now it can't be the the dominance of one or the other. It has to be the balance of both in order for us to be effective. And so now the nurturing energy is being exposed to the point that it's supposed to. Now it's amazing that the Aquarian glyph is a male energy holding the vessel of water, which means there is a coming together of the feminine and the masculine. And that pouring out, in the last days I will pour my spirit over all flesh. That is what's happening. The spirit is being poured over all flesh, and things have to change. The Aquarian is about bringing and really a rebellion against the status quo that is right now, and then saying there needs to be a massive amount of coming together for the collective consciousness as a whole.
Mhm. So on the day of 12/21,
Hmm.
12, what could we do on that day, or what do you think we should expect on that day?
Well, there is going to be definitely a massive amount of blending together, whether you want to or not. And remember, I used that analogy about the school having a fire drill, and everyone comes out of their rooms and have to single file in out of a main door.
Okay.
Well, that is basically what's happening to the planets. You know, they've come into orbit and they're orbiting around until they get to this single file area between, you know, the magnetic poles. And so when it's like that, you know, people are going to bump into one another. The planets' magnetic poles are all bumping into one another. So there's going to be some physical things happening. There's
Yeah.
going to be some spiritual things happening. And there are going to be definitely some satellite things happening. So we're going to have communication breakup and things like that. Definitely with everything because of the, you know, the planetary, the magnetic pools. But what we can do is really raise our consciousness, and I think that day is going to be especially a good day because everyone is conscious that day that this is supposed to be quote unquote the end of the world, or it's going to be something. No matter what level they're on, everyone's going to be conscious of this day, and
That's
everybody's
right.
going to be expecting something. And there is a collective consciously, whether it's, you know, that we know of, or conscious or unconscious, we're all collectively on one accord that day.
Cindy, this is Wendy. I think you're really right about that. And we have to look at the cosmological anomaly that we're going to be experiencing too, with the alignment of the sun and our planet and the Milky Way galaxy and then the
Yes.
anti-galactic center of Pleiades. We have,
Yes.
with this alignment, this is the first time in 26,000 years that the Earth
Yes.
will not be receiving directly that ambient energy that we all thrive on from the Milky Way galaxy. And how do you think that's going to affect people on that day and just in this week as we come up on this alignment?
Well, it's going to affect two different ways. You know, well, not just two, but, you know, basically it's going to lift the people who are on the light workers, definitely on a higher vibration.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
not
I
even
agree.
just the light workers, the people who are, you know, unaware, asleep. This going to bring, well, we're already there, awareness to something that we don't understand. And then also, what's going to happen is, I kind of got my computer went into something else. Sorry. Um, I
That's okay.
really feel that we are going to literally, um, it's just a shift. It's just a shift. We've been doing this every 2,600 years. We're going to survive.
Right. And
There's,
well,
you know,
because there wasn't anybody to tell us about this shift
Yeah.
hmm
26,000 years ago, there is the thought that those of us who are more spiritually enlightened and aware are better prepared to deal with this, where the general
hmm
populace who haven't been focusing on this for the last few years, like those of us who have been preparing
Hmm.
spiritually and
yes,
building up
yes.
to this point, it
It's
might
going
be
to
a little
be
overwhelming for them.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to
I
be
agree.
kind of overwhelming, I think, for the people who's been doing it for years. It's because they've been there, and then they're going to see these last group of people running in there getting the same type of blessings that we want to say that they've been having worked 30, 40 years for.
For being
And
awakened
that's,
and psychically
yes,
gifted
Right.
is what you mean.
they're going to
Yes.
come on,
Yes.
these new people running in here is going to come in on a high vibration just like we have, and they just started. So I think it's just about being open and aware and working into this, you know, field. Now, I do have people that I've had, young people who are talking about 2021, and they're afraid, and they'll be glad when the world is over, and they're going through these depression and I think that's part of some of the fears that's going
Yes.
on, and some of these people acting out. It's because they think that they're going to just check out before it happens, and they just, you know, they have this doomsday, you know, mentality about it.
They're expecting an apocalypse.
And
Yes,
actually,
and
there's a
so,
couple of
hmm
teachers in my meditation groups and they teach middle school, and the middle schoolers are actually talking about it.
Yes, I had one ask me about the zombie apocalypse last year because I was teaching full time.
hmm
I've taught middle school and high school for the last 18 years, and I've had students seriously asking about that. And being the type of teacher that I am, I explain to them what I know, and
Yeah.
I think that helps them work at ease.
yes,
I think we need to
because
teach them how to
it
channel
is.
this energy they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so crazy because just yesterday, I heard a lady talking about, you know, that they have zombie bullets.
That's
We
silly.
literally have
It
zombie
is silly.
and
That's
you can
really
buy the
silly.
zombie bullets, and they're bigger and heavier than the regular bullets. And oh my God, even the rifle NRA is in on this thing,
Oh my goodness.
But it
They're,
just
you know
shows
what? They're
you it
making
doesn't
money.
matter.
That's what they're doing,
You know,
making money.
Cindy,
Yeah.
I've come up with a metaphysical solution for the people who are afraid of a zombie apocalypse or something. You have to understand our spiritual energy is guided, and we get a lot of it from that Milky Way energy. And since there's going to be an eclipse and there's going to be less
Mm-hmm.
Milky Way energy, and I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud in front of everybody, but it would be impossible for zombies to reanimate themselves during this time period because that energy is not going to be available to them.
Well,
So
there you
there's your
there
solution.
there
Don't
you have
worry.
it.
Zombies are
Don't
not
waste
going
your
to eat
money on the
us.
bullets.
That's right.
But it just shows the mentality of some people will buckle down spiritually, and some people will buckle down with rifles.
Right. Yeah.
And it's
I
just
know. I have a
it is
cousin who's a prepper.
yeah. So this black and white energy here, it's almost like 1999. When it was the Y2K thing, and I belonged to a interracial church, and man, it was just really funny because you were looking at these people, taking stuff out the stock market, and they were hiding in the mountains and all this stuff, and I was in that, and my kids were looking at me, Mom, we're just gonna die because you have nothing but beans and rice. I say, honey, look, I grew up on beans and rice. We're gonna survive. My God, I have nothing to lose. But it's just like everybody's building up for this big fear thing, and we're just always, disappointed. And it's like everyone wants the massive massive, destruction to happen. And I feel that, the Creator has more in store for us than that disaster.
Hey, Cindy, tell everybody about your book, and then tell everybody again how to get in touch with you. Because you
Okay.
also do astrological charts, you do and you put in numerology, you
Yes.
do all kinds of teaching, you have your TV show and all those kind of things. Everyone, she's in Houston, Texas, but Cindy travels around and she's just a Skype away. So if you want to contact her, so Cindy, please give everyone that information again.
Okay. So my email is Cindy, CYNDI@psychicflow.com, and my Skype name is Prophetic Flower, actually, PROPHETICFLOWER. That's my Skype name, and then also my website is Psychic Flow, and let's see, and my book name is Do It Yourself Psychic Development, The Universal Secrets Revealed. And you can get that on Amazon, or you can order that book on my website, which would be better because I slashed $10 off of it, so it's $19.99.
Get it on her
And
website, folks.
it's at psychicflow.com.
And tell them really quickly what the book is about.
It's just about basic psychic things that you should know that the whole universe has for us. There's nothing a mystery. I mean, the stars are there because God wants us, or the Creator wants us to know things about ourselves. Even, different things like animals, signs. Look at the signs. We have, tarot, astrology. I have a breakdown, a chart or a cheat sheet about every single sign and what they default to, and you can basically know a person just by their signs. And right now what I'm into now is North Nodes, and that means where your destiny is and or where your past life was. And so so give me a call if you want a reading, or if you want some counseling. I'm even a minister. I do weddings and funerals and blah, blah, blah. So everything.
Cindy, thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to have you back as a recurring guest anytime there's anything that's going on that's significant in the stars. We'd like to have you on. We want to have you on again next year, 2013. After the apocalypse.
No zombies.
After the end of the world, we'll see.
So that's how confident we are that, the world will go on, just
It
like
will.
right after the Titanic. Cindy, thank you so
Yes.
much. God
Thank
bless
you
you.
so much. And nice to talk to you, Wendy. And
Nice to meet you.
we, yes, and I'm going to continue to look on.
Thank you. Thank you. Cindy, Wendy. Thanks, Cindy. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. All right. Thank you.
That
Well,
was really interesting.
that was really interesting, and I'm telling you, she's so fantastic. I actually had a sneak peek of her book. I've done some intensive psychic work with her, and she used some of those techniques in her book with us. So I'm telling you guys, go to her website, check out the book. It's a nice reference book to have, and it's a system that she developed herself on this numerology. She kind of combined numerology with astrology, and so you can, if you're doing something with someone and you just find out what their birthday is, you know what year they in and know what kind of things about them. It's just, I can't explain it. You just have to get the book.
Yeah, I all I know about numerology is I'm an 11. And that's about the extent of it. I am not a numerologist or an astrologer, so it's really, really interesting
Get
to
the book.
listen to her. Yeah,
Just
I'd
get the
really
book.
like to read that.
But now, everybody, we're going to talk to Wendy. And if you want to call in, 727-493-2055. You guys see me looking up there because we have a bunch of stuff up there on the
Wish you were
wall.
reading it.
Because there's really a number, but the number is in the middle of the screen as well. So, and if you're not able to listen to the entire show today, know that you can always come back and get any information about Wendy and Cindy on here. There's also information on Wendy's website, which is
PsychicWen.com.
okay.
And it's WEN, PsychicWEN.com.
Okay. So now, Wendy, introduce yourself officially. Who are you?
My name is Wendy Hover. I am the leader or the organizer for the Sixth Sense Spiritualist group, which meets in the Lutz Land O'Lakes area. I am a psychic, oracle, medium, author. I'm everything but an astrologer and a numerologist, pretty much. I firmly believe that everybody is psychic. Everybody has psychic abilities. It is just a matter of being able to tap into that part of your brain and get it working. And then hopefully, by the end of January, I will also be offering my clients hypnosis.
Awesome.
It's really exciting. I have learned so much because I always thought that hypnosis was very similar to meditation. Whereas meditation, I do guided medication for not medication.
Look, I've done that. I've
Let
said
me
that
tell
before.
ya.
You guys know that.
I do guided meditation for a lot of my clients, and I thought that hypnosis would be expounding on that, and it's not because in meditation, you want somebody to kind of let their mind drift and go so they can think freely, whereas hypnosis is a state of hyper focus.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
this has been an interesting process for me, and I'm sure it'll be very good for my clients as well.
First, tell us about your group. Tell
My
us about the Sixth Sense Spiritualist group. What is that, and why did you start it?
my group is fantastic. They're the most wonderful group of people that I've ever come across, and it is growing exponentially every day. And Dee Dee, we found Dee Dee through the group, and she is absolutely incredible. The Sixth Sense Spiritualist is a group for people who don't know where they are metaphysically or know exactly where they are metaphysically. Whether you're a novice, you're curious, you're a beginner, or you have been working as a professional psychic for many years, or we have yoga instructors, we have people like Dee Dee who specialize in aromatherapy, the biomat, and all of the other wonderful things that she does. And I tell you what, her aromatherapy is really, really good. You,
It's not bad.
it's awesome. We're all smelling and we're like going into a little trance state just smelling the stuff that you brought for us. So we were really impressed. And I've had speakers come in on hypnosis, on shamanship. We have other speakers that'll be coming in the new year and helping us find our path. I think everybody just needs to find out what their path is. And
Yeah.
I think once you get started, then you get interested in other modalities. I'm a Reiki master, and I saw that you're going to be teaching Reiki, and that is teaching Reiki is an incredible experience. And even if you're not looking to be a Reiki master or do healing for other people, the way that you can help yourself with Reiki is really, really good for anyone.
I think the attunement that you get from Reiki, which is basically the kind of initiation, or you're passing on the ability to um, channel the energy, is the most important thing, and knowing what Reiki can do
Right.
to
And it
people
and it
for you.
helped me a lot. Reiki, becoming a Reiki master helped me a lot with what I do because I do psychic readings for people. I use oracle cards. I'm typically not a tarot reader. What I do is more energy and spiritualistic related than what the tarot has to offer for me. What I do is I kind of read the energy patterns of people. I look at your past, I look at your present situation and what your future possibilities are. I try and find areas in your life where you've gone awry, where maybe you've made some mistakes or you were in situations that you had no control of. Help you kind of look at the energy that was surrounding those situations and then move forward from that.
I think that's really interesting, because if you were to just get a reading from someone, they would just, it wouldn't include all the history, the person's past, and why, the reason why they're in that particular situation, would it?
Right.
And
No,
and is
not
that
at
what
all.
you do?
That is exactly what I do. I am not, if you're looking for the type of psychic that's going to give you lottery numbers or tell you that you're going to be rear ended by a blue car on Tuesday, I am not your girl.
And I
But
have a horse that I can sell you too.
that's right. Exactly. Exactly. I'm also not the type where oh, you need to come back because we need to do some more work. I am
Mhm.
really business wise, I'm not very good at being a psychic because I give you all of the information that I have and, I want you to work with that. I want you to be able to move forward with that and make some progress in your life. It is my job on this planet to help you find some balance spiritually and use the energy that you have in a positive way. Because if you're a person who is full of angst and negative energy or negative energy is surrounding you, we can change that energy. You have the ability to do that, and it's not that difficult.
And one of the things that Cindy was talking about earlier is that all the light workers that are newly awakened
Right.
now, and they're newly awakened because we need them, because of this new age of Aquarius, and the polarization that Cindy was talking about. So the way you're using your gift is very much what is needed, because it's not just
Thank you.
giving. It is, and people use this as a business, but you're saying you're not so good as a business person. It's because when we think of the gifts that we're given, we don't think of it as a business. We think of it as a way to help people.
Exactly.
So the way that you're using your gift, the way that you were given this gift, I think is what's needed. Because if people just get information for that moment
Right.
and not know why they're in that situation, then they're doomed to repeat it.
Right. I mean, obviously it can help with some immediate situations, but
Mhm.
for the most part, I am all about helping you move forward, helping you change the pattern that you're in. Being a medium, sometimes I often get help from the otherworldlies
Yeah.
that surround us.
Yes.
And
Our friends.
when you're talking about the group in our community, I am kind of what's known as a beacon, where people who think they are metaphysically aware or think they have some sort of psychic ability or mediumship, or they've had some strange things happen in their life that they're now just starting to learn about, will find me and they will find the group and they will find the help that they need within the group too. We're
That's
always
right. We were
willing to
talking
share.
about your aura is very different, right? So
Yes.
tell us about how your aura is different. How is a normal aura, and then how's yours?
I am not a person who can see auras, but I've seen like the aura pictures and I've talked to other people who do auras and they have a hard time reading mine because whereas most people have an aura that surrounds them, much like a bubble. I have
Yeah.
my psychic bubble for protection, but that is different from the energy that I put out. It seems to go in tendrils.
And tendrils are what?
Tendrils they almost look like um the smoke that comes up from a flame, they kind of,
Okay.
but it allows me to put energy in a lot of different directions. So where, I may be dealing with a number of situations at a time, I can still keep myself balanced by using tendrils to give and take energy. And
I see.
it's still white light energy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's still white light energy, but it's just a different way of people who have some of the abilities that I have. And I've met others that work with tendrils too. It helps us kind of balance it out instead of working with a giant, I guess, blob of energy. I don't know how else
Okay.
to describe it, but other than this big bubble that
So
surrounds
yours
you.
kind of spirals out?
Right.
Because when you say
Right.
tendrils, that's what I think of, something
Right.
that kind of
Exactly. It
spirals out
spirals
like
out.
that and reaches out.
Right. And I think it helped me a lot when I was teaching too, because
Mhm.
when you have that kind of energy and it's a give and take flow that comes with that kind of energy, it helps you to understand what the needs of different people are at the same time.
Mhm.
If I'm speaking to a room of people, there may be somebody over here that needs one kind of energy, but somebody on the other side of the room that needs something else. So in order to kind of read them, much like a gallery reading that a medium would do, and able to, I'm separating them into separate energy groups.
So when did you realize that you were special, or that you had gifts?
Yes, special. I like that. My mother always said, "Well, Wendy's a little weird." It was at a
Your mom
very,
said that.
yeah. My mother's always said, "Hi, mom." My mother has always said that I'm just a little bit weird. I think when I was about 7, I went up to her and said, "I'm a witch," and she's like, "Okay, that makes sense." Um,
When you were 7 and
that
you
when I
and
was
okay,
7,
and you said you were a witch and your mom didn't freak out. So
no.
that's good.
No,
Thank you, mom.
there were incidents early on, things that I knew, things that happened, that really kind of let my family know that I was a little bit different, or weird. And then I think one of the biggest breakthroughs for our family as a whole didn't come until about 3 or 4 years ago. We had had some tragedy in our family, and we had gone to see Victor Vortex down in he's in Casadega, and I know he works
Uh-huh.
over in the UK a lot. But we had gone to see him for a séance, and in the séance, I decided, drop the psychic bubble at the door. I'm going to leave it there, and immediately my friend Jen's grandmother shows up and starts talking to me about radishes. It was really interesting. But the rest of the séance, I don't remember too much of it. Fortunately, we had recorded it, but I ended up channeling the people that came through that day. And that was an amazing awakening experience for me. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Once you get into it and you start opening yourself up to this energy, to the positive energy that surrounds you, all kinds of things can come through. And I think that's another reason why your spirit guide class would be very, very helpful, is because sometimes you need help with that energy. And,
Yes.
knowing
Yeah.
who your spirit guides are can help
Mhm.
you with that.
Yeah. And so was that day that you were in Casadega, was that your first big
Yeah.
aha moment that, hey, I feel that I'm very, very, and there's no doubt, because I know I had that moment like, okay, now I accept it because there's no doubt that I have this gift and ability. Was that your day?
Well, I think it comes down to witness because, when you talk about people in different religions and everything, one of the words that comes up a lot, especially, when you're talking about things spiritually, is witness. And having members of my family there, having a friend there, having somebody there to actually see this happening to me, because I knew, like, my great uncle Frank is with us a lot. I think, my dad has said, and my dad's a fourth degree knight with the Catholic Church, and I'm very, very proud of everything that he does. And my parents are so supportive. It's amazing. And to have somebody come in and say, I had the spirit of my great uncle came to me and he said, "You have cancer." And he said, "And everything's going to be okay." So I walked out into the living room. My husband was watching Sports Center, and I said, "I have cancer." And he goes, "Did you talk to the doctor?" I'm like, "No, I just, know now that I have it." And
Uh-huh.
even my physician is supportive. He's amazing. And, I went to him and I told him what happened, and he said, "All right, where do you want to start looking?" And I had malignant thyroid cancer.
Uh-huh. So you knew something was wrong, and then
Something was wrong. Yeah.
your the spirit of your great uncle came through and told you.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
he
And
did.
how long
So
ago was that? When was that?
that was 2009, 2010. So
Okay.
I've been cancer free for a year, so I'm really happy with that. Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank the all the spirit guides and everybody that worked on Wendy, and I'm going
Yes,
everybody
thank you.
from in
Everybody.
the physical earth and beyond that worked
Right.
on Wendy.
Right. Oh, I
Thank you for the
wholeheartedly
blessings.
believe in medicine too, which is, a
Yeah,
lot of people want
absolutely.
you to
You
go
do have
that.
to, guys. If you're not
Right.
feeling good, you need to go to the doctor, but you can also help yourself by doing things like meditation, eating right exercise, um, just detoxing, getting rid of toxic people too,
Right.
and things.
Hypnosis can help with that too.
Yes, yes,
Hypnosis, can help with that, and that's why I think it's just an extension.
yes.
You and I are very, very similar, and we are constantly in a state of learning.
Constantly. I'm a perpetual student. That's one of the
I
things I
am
say.
too.
Yes.
I cried the day high school ended because I was like,
Did
couldn't
you? I
wait
don't know
till.
about that, y'all.
Oh, I did because I loved school, and and hello to everybody that's listening from high school and there's a lot of them out there in Texas too, Cindy. So you want to get a hold of them.
Mm-hmm.
There is, there's just so much joy in learning for me
Mm-hmm.
and learning new things because then I take that and I share it.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not, my husband would love to hear I'm learning for monetary gain, but that's not how it works.
Thank you for saying that. And we let me tell you, and we talked about this, how much our husbands are
My
supportive
husband is awesomely
of what
incredible.
we do and not grumbly because we have decided to be a light worker full time.
Right, exactly, exactly. It was
Full
hard,
time.
it was hard to leave teaching
Yeah.
and leave the classroom behind, but I did so for medical reasons, but it just really has expounded into having more time to share my gifts with
And actually,
others.
you just left that classroom.
I
You've
did.
started a bigger classroom. You have, Wendy. I've seen you in your group, and you're great there. You're a great leader there, and you're bringing in these people of these different practitioners, kind of like what this radio show is doing, bringing in
Exactly.
the different practitioners. So the people in the group, the sixth sense spiritualist group can say, "Oh, I see that. I understand that. And I want to try that. I want to know more about that." So you
Right.
are still teaching, but just on a different level.
Right, exactly. And but then it comes down to you and I talking about you still have to pay a light bill,
Yes,
right?
yes. So if you
You
guys
still
would like to know more about Wendy, or perhaps get a reading with her, to see how she does it differently, I really encourage that.
I'm also a
Um,
wedding officiant.
She is, and I'm looking at her site right now, that
And
all the different things you do. Hand fasting. What is hand fasting
hand
exactly?
fasting is a ceremony that dates back to the Middle Ages, and in the Middle Ages, couples were actually tied together for the wedding ceremony, and they stayed bound together for an entire year. And at the end of that year, if they still wanted to be married, then they would have another ceremony. And in fact, I'm doing a year and a day ceremony for one of my wedding clients next weekend because they, obviously they did not stay tied together for a year, but they did, they're honoring that commitment. So, but I figure if you can stay tied together to somebody for a year, you should be married to
Yes, yes. The number to call in, you guys, again, is 727. When do you do it? You can read it. I know it.
them. 727-493-2055.
And also, if you call in, you can get a copy of the Fancy Files, Wendy's book that she's going to tell us about a little in a little bit here. And if you're not able to call in today, and if you call Wendy's regular, how do people get in contact with you outside of
Um,
today?
People can contact me through the Psychic One website. It is psychic dot or when WEN
Let's do that again.
psychicwen.com. And there's a phone number on there where you can reach me. Also, wedbywendy.com is also has my phone number, or you can send me an email or a message. You can also text me at 813 766-3668 if you want to get a hold of me, and we can set up an appointment.
And tell us about this book. What is this book about?
The book is called The
Let's
Fancy
see.
Files, the mostly true story of a slightly insane girl.
Mostly
And
true story?
mostly true story. It depends. If my dad's asking about 95% is true for the rest of you, it's a good way to get to know me. It is a book. It is a work of fiction, and it is based on some events and non-events that took place during my senior year. It is a quick read. It is, if you have a teenage daughter or even a son. I have a lot of boys that like to read it because it gives them fast insights to the working of the minds of girls. So as a mother, my son has read it twice. It's like a little beware poster you can put up in their room.
Fun. It sounds
So
really fun. And
it
it's
is. It is.
available
It's
on
a
Barnes
funny
and
book.
Noble too, isn't
It
it?
is. You can get it
Yeah.
on barnesandnoble.com, and you can get it on at Amazon as a hard copy book, or it is now available as an ebook on Barnes and Noble and Amazon.com.
Great.
And
Great.
I have to say, it's written under Wendy Van Horn, which is my maiden name, which is the one that I write under.
Great. So she has a pen name.
I
That's it.
do. I'm
That's
official.
where
I have a pen name.
that came from. So what events do you have coming up for January or the rest of the year?
For the rest of this year, we are going to be the group is going to be focusing on gathering new speakers. So if you're interested in being a speaker for our group, also go to psychicwen.com and let me know. And you can also email me at psychicwen@aol.com. And if for the new year, I know that we have the Sun City Center, that in Sun City, we have the Metaphysical Society is going to be having an expo there, and I will be a guest speaker at that event and also be doing readings at that event.
And what day is that? Do you know?
I believe that is on the 12th of January. Is that a Saturday in January? And it's open to the public. There are going to be a lot of great
And
speakers
so here
there.
we are in our iPhones,
Here we
you
are in
guys,
our
and we're looking at those.
welcome to the modern world where Wendy can get her calendar and
Yes.
know what it is she's supposed to be doing and when she's supposed to be there. Okay, yeah, that is January 12th. It starts at 10 o'clock, and it's on South Pebble Beach Drive down in Sun City. That Metaphysical Society down there does some really incredible work with the people that they have.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people go there, so I heard about it all the time. I haven't been there myself, so but maybe I'll come down and see what you guys are doing.
Right. And I would like to invite everybody. Tomorrow night, we have a meeting of the Sixth Sense Spiritualists at the Village Inn in Land O'Lakes. It's at Collier and 54. And quite honestly, if you can find it, then you have earned the right to be there.
And let me tell you, the first time I drove there, I'm like, it doesn't show up on GPS.
No, it doesn't.
So I
It's-
was
it's like our
divinely guided. I was divinely guided there.
I have that building so protected.
But it
Your
was
GPS can't pick it up.
a great group. And we have just a few more minutes. So I just wanted to remind you guys that the show is brought to you by Quintessence Aromatherapy and Crystal Healing. With the owner, the lovely Dee Dee Lovejoy.
She is lovely.
And I want to invite you guys to every Thursday to the meditation and intuitive development group every Thursday at my place over in Carrollwood. It is 114 North Del Mabry on the corner of Limeball and Del Mabry behind Starbucks. And we have this group from 7 to 9. It's a great group of people. Come and join us. It's $10, but we don't turn anybody away for your inability to pay. And we have a different meditation every week, and we do some kind of intuitive development. It's like psychometry or clairvoyance, some kind of psychic development. We do card readings and healings and things like that too. So it's a great group to be in. Also, the third Thursday it's a Reiki share. So come and join with us. We would love to have you. And so since Adam is pointing one at me, so that means that we have 1 minute. So it's probably time to do a short meditation. We can do that on our way out. Do we have time for that, Adam? Maybe just a little, our little prayer. 30 seconds. Okay, I could do it. Give me music, man. Give me music.
Thank you for having me today too.
And it was great. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. It was fantastic having you. You guys, we took some really good pictures when we were in here. We were such girls in here with
Glam
with
girls,
this.
that's us.
So anyone, just take a breath in, close your eyes, and this is just our prayer to say goodbye. So we say, Lord, please go before us in all things. Go before us in all that we say and all that we do, and all of our goals and aspirations, and all of our prayers and expectations. Please go before us and light the way and pave the way. Walk alongside us and guide us, teach us, protect us, uplift us and elevate us. Meet us there and shower us with your love, your light, your blessings, your miracles, and answered prayer. Namaste, everybody.
Blessed be.
Want a joyous, fulfilling life? Do what the fulfilled do. Be grateful for the things you have. Give freely from your heart. Be of service to others. Lead